Don't let one bad leg haunt your parlay. Parlays turn into payouts, and now even near misses won't haunt your bet. The NFL season is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is rewriting the rules with Ghost Leg, a new game-changing promotion that turns close calls into cold, hard cash. Best of all, it's available to all DraftKings customers. Here's how it works. Build any 3+ leg pregame NFL parlay on Sunday, apply your Ghost Leg token, and if one leg loses, DraftKings makes it vanish like it never existed and pays you out in cash for the rest. Last season, over 30 million parlays were lost by a single leg. This year, Ghost Leg gives those busted bets a second life. No more busted parlays that haunt you all season. With Ghost Leg, the bad leg vanishes. The payout doesn't. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PFF. That's code PFF to unlock Ghost Leg, the promotion that makes one bad leg disappear and pays you out in real cash. Ghost your losses, get your payout in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Next up at 4:30 is one of the biggest games of the week, and we did not think it would be going into the season.
Biggest game in USF history?
It's up there. I mean, I know they had some great years back in the day, but man, this is a big one. Number 18, USF at number 5, Miami, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the CW network. The storyline to know is, can USF topple its third giant in as many weeks? They're the biggest Cinderella story that we have in college football right now. They started their year off by dominating number 25 Boise State, 34-7, a school that made the college football playoff quarterfinals last year and was the clear favorite to represent the group of five in the playoff once again this year. Boise State was both of our picks to make the playoff right now. USF dominated them, wiped the floor with them in week one. So that game, we came out of it and said, okay, USF is at least a contender to be the group of five playoff team this year. Week 2 showed, no, they're the outright favorite to be the group of five playoff team this year because they went on the road and beat number 13 Florida 18-16, despite entering that game on the road as 17.5-point underdogs. Now USF is ranked for the first time in 7 years, and they can skyrocket up even higher than number 18 if they could beat a top 5 team in Miami on the road. USF right now, the only team in America with 2 ranked wins already on their schedule. They're looking for a third one in as many games this week against Miami.
And you know my theory on this. I've been saying it since Sunday. If it was me and they had found a way to win this game, I'd make them number 1 in the country.
Yeah, you could absolutely do that.
Resume-wise, I would do it.
It's clear. Yeah.
I mean, you beat Florida at Florida, Miami at Miami. You dominate Boise, who made the playoff last year in week 1, who, you know what, still might be a pretty good team. We'll see how they bounce back in Mountain West play, but maybe Boise, and the better that Boise is, the better it is for USF and their resume because they're going to win that tiebreaker, right? Yep. So I think as far as USF, it's an incredible story the first couple weeks of the season. Alex Golesh has them playing such hard-nosed football, especially on defense. Todd Orlando's defense looks better than it has at any point in the last couple of years, and that's something that's going to be a premium in this game, having to keep it. Just keep yourselves in it. Give yourself a chance. You get to that last 5 to 8 minutes, and you just have a chance. It's a one-score game like it was in Gainesville. You never know. It only takes one mistake, one big penalty, is swinging momentum like that. You never know. So I think that's going to be the theme again here with USF is they're going to try to play really good defense and keep themselves in it for as long as possible.
But it's a tough test this week. The toughest test of the year so far for USF against a top 5 team in Miami. Dalton, you have that Miami offense with Carson Beck there, and that Miami offensive line was kicking ass in that week 1 game against Notre Dame. So really, how will USF do trying to get some pressure on Carson Beck?
So here's what happened last week with USF. I think they did, for their standard, against a really explosive Gator team, they did a great job in coverage, preventing the deep ball, right? DJ Lagway, I think, did not complete a deep ball in that game, correct?
No, he didn't.
That's a big thing. Now, a little bit different style here with Carson Beck. 2, they did stop the run pretty well. Jaden Baugh had his moments, but they only gave up 4.5 yards a carry across 30 carries. That's a good result for the Bulls also. I think in run defense, they could do a nice job in this game. Miami does not. They've got a good offensive line, but it's not the most creative run game. I think they can get physical with it. To me, the question is, can they get any more pressure against another elite offensive line on Carson Beck than they did on DJ Lagway. They only pressured Lagway was only pressured on 3 dropbacks last week.
It was the highest Florida pass blocking grade we've ever seen in a game.
And none of those 3 pressures were defensive linemen. They were all blitzers, either from linebackers or from slot players. So USF's defensive linemen did not have a single pressure in that game against Florida, which actually makes it even more amazing that they won, because I'd have to look back at how many games we've seen, other than maybe academy schools, where a quarterback was not pressured for an entire game. Or at least, or I should say, a defensive line did not get a single pressure for an entire game. So DJ Lagway was sitting back there clean. He either just didn't make the throws sometimes, or there was a couple of big drops in that game, or Florida's committing penalties, right? So Miami can't beat yourself. But then you look at Carson Beck. And Carson Beck's different than DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway's a home run hitter. Carson Beck's a singles hitter. He can manufacture, especially in a clean pocket. Max, since he became a starter in 2023 for Georgia, I'm going to give you the list of quarterbacks with a higher passing grade in a clean pocket than Carson Beck. Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders, Caleb Williams, Cam Ward, Jaden Daniels. Carson Beck is 6 behind those 5 guys. 4 first-round picks, 3 top 2 picks, and Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about when Beck's back there clean, he's an NFL-level processor. He's got the quick release. He's going to get rid of the football. On top of the fact that, and that's another thing too, we saw it against Notre Dame. He gets rid of the football generally before you can pressure him anyway. And now if he's got time to operate, get to his second and third, real problem. USF is going to, at some point in this game, if Beck is not fully in a rhythm of just tearing him apart underneath anyway, they're going to have to find a way to get some pressure on him. Because we know Beck at times, we've seen it in the past, you do get him under pressure at a decent rate. He's not that mobile. There's times, and he was really good under pressure the handful of times against Notre Dame, but there's times where it's not much on the improv, right? But they got to find a way to do it. Because they didn't pressure Lagway at all, and they got away with it. Have to find a little, if you have to manufacture it if you're Todd Orlando, or if your defensive line just has to play better, you've got to find a way to get some level of pressure on Carson Beck. Because if you only pressure Beck 3 times the whole game, well, he's going to go off on you.
Yeah. So it's all about the trenches for Miami's offense. And it's all about the trenches for USF's offense, too. My match to watch is USF's offensive line against Miami's defensive line. Because you mentioned before, Miami's offensive line was great against Notre Dame. Miami's defensive line was elite against the Fighting Irish. They were the biggest reason why they beat Notre Dame in that Week 1 game. Miami had a 63.9% pass rush win rate against what was thought as a top 10 at least offensive line in the country.
Oh boy.
Many analysts thought they were the number 1 offensive line in the country. And star running back Jeremiah Love only had 46 rushing yards on 11 attempts, and everyone thought he was the number 1 running back in the country entering the year. He still might be, but Miami's defensive line was that freaking dominant in that Week 1 game. Through 2 weeks, Miami has the 3rd highest graded defensive line in college football. They are 2nd as a team in run defense grade. They are 7th as a team in pass rush grade. Top 10 pick, Ruben Bain Jr. see him right there. He could be a top 10 pick, I should say, projected right now. He's been the star of that unit so far. He's the only edge rusher in America with 90-plus grades, both as a run defender and as a pass rusher. He was unfreaking blockable in that game against Notre Dame. Like I said, he could be a top 10 pick, maybe even a top 5 pick in the 2026 NFL draft if he keeps playing like that. I will say, though, USF's offensive line has performed very admirably in pass protection, posting a top 40 pass blocking grade in the country through 2 weeks. That includes a 77.7 pass blocking grade against Florida this past weekend, who had my number 4 defensive line in the country entering the year. I thought it was going to be a big mismatch for USF in that game, and Byron Brown held on the football for, I believe, an average of 2.8 seconds. It wasn't like he was getting rid of the football quickly, and USF's offensive line still held up against Florida. I will say, though, again, the run game has been a different story for USF. Right now, USF has the 10th worst run blocking grade in all of college football so far. So their ability to keep Byron Brown, their superstar quarterback, upright in this game and get any sort of push for Byron Brown and the running backs in the run game against what looks like at least a top 3, maybe even the best defensive line in college football, could be the biggest difference in whether or not USF pulls off a 3rd straight upset or falls to 2-1 in the season.
Two things in this offense for Alex Golesh, which is the exact same as Josh Heupel at Tennessee, that they're going to want to do, especially when you have a defensive line like that. In Miami, because they have that great defensive line, they don't blitz a whole lot. So you're going to be dealing with those four guys, especially Bain and Mesidor off the edge. Two things they're going to want to do. One, first down, okay? USF is all about tempo. They have to get a positive play on first down so they can get in the tempo, they can get out there and make those D linemen sweat, get the hands on the hips, go and make it, get them, just exhaust them, right? You wear them down over the course of the game, right? I think that's something against Notre Dame that Notre Dame didn't get a rhythm of until late in the game when they were behind, was pick the tempo up. Let's go. If they're going to leave those four guys out there, and those are the guys, Ruben Bain and them, that's what they're going to rely on to win this game, you got to wear them down. So tempo is big, and I think for Miami, just getting off to a good start on drives and in the game overall in the first quarter, get yourself off to a good first quarter, 3 and out right away is big. If USF can't pick up the tempo, ideally, Alex Golesh wants to lead the nation in plays run, offensive plays per game. It's slowed down a little on them these first two because they haven't gotten in the full rhythm. Maybe they'll get more of that in the American, but if they get it in this game, it's a problem. The other thing you mentioned about the pass rush, they have pass blocked well. The other thing that's the second layer in this is tackling Byron Brown.
Yeah.
Right? He's one of those quarterbacks. He's one of the hardest guys in college football to tackle, right? Even if you are Ruben Bain or Akeem Mesidor or Caleb Banks or Tyreek.
Group of 5 Lenore Sellers.
Essentially, yeah, that's pretty much what you're talking about. Is you can pressure him all you want, but this is a player that you have to. It's almost like Josh Allen with the Bills, where it's like you can pressure him all you want. If you don't bring him down, he's going to kill you, especially with his legs. So I think that's a big factor. Is yes, getting pressure, but also finishing the play is massive when you're talking about Byron Brown and his rushing ability.
So, Dalton, last week, USF was a 17.5-point underdog, and they pulled off the outright upset victory over Florida. This week, they're a 17.5-point underdog. Will they pull off a third upset in a row, or will a top 5 team in Miami end, for now, the Cinderella run that USF's on?
I think if they were going to pull off this one, they do need to get off to a better offensive start. The first half of these first two games they've played, including the Boise State one, they haven't played great offense. They went into halftime up on Boise 10-7. In Florida, they were down 9-6, and their defense kept them in reach. They have to get off to a better offensive start if they're going to do that. I've got Miami. I think USF, look, they used a boatload of energy to win that game last week, right? It took every last ounce of grit that they had. I think Miami is a different type of challenge because I think Carson Beck is a different type of challenge than Lagway. There is a world against DJ Lagway where you go, hey, if we just don't let him hit home runs, he's going to make some unforced errors. And he kind of did, right? Carson Beck is the other way around, where you almost want to challenge him. You almost wonder if Todd Orlando goes with a little more man-to-man coverage just to do it. And look, it's dangerous because we saw even against Notre Dame, Malachi Toney and CJ Daniels and those guys, they can win those battles. But I'm taking Miami 30-14. USF pulling off 3 in a row, I think would just be the most ridiculous thing we see all year. I do think actually that the Carson Beck is the difference in this game, and he just keeps it cool and keeps the offense moving. And Beck always understands the assignment here. He knows how big this game is for USF, but also understanding what they are on defense, manufacture. You can't. The first two teams, Boise was incapable. They just couldn't throw vertically, so they weren't a threat. Florida tried the deep shots, wasn't happening, couldn't find another answer. I think Beck has the answers. Miami 30-14.
I have it 31-21. I also have Miami winning this game. I think Miami's trenches are the difference in this one. I think the offensive line against US's pass rush will win that matchup, and I think Ruben Bain and company in the defensive line will win against USF's offensive line too. Even with the loss, USF is still the favorite to be the Group of 5 playoff team. I
think losing this game, especially if they were to say even, let's say, cover the 17 or whatever it is, or play, like if they lost a tight game, especially, but I don't think losing this game has really any bearing on say their playoff chances.
No.
Now at this point they just need to get into the American, and they've got tough games. There's an at Memphis, there's an at Navy. Maybe we'll preview them. Maybe they'll be big enough games that we can preview them. But it's going to be USF's a big story now, regardless of whether they win or lose this game. And if they ever pulled it off, I don't even know where it would go from there. I have no idea.
And can I just say right now, even if they lose and if Miami even covers this spread too, I know they won't be in the AP poll considering they're number 18 right now. They should absolutely still be ranked even if they lose to Miami by however many points. This is still a team that should be ranked. After beating Boise State, after beating Florida, I have USF number 11 in my personal ranking. I will guarantee you they will not drop out of my top 25 even if they lose to Miami by 20 to 30 points. I don't care. they should still be ranked for what they did in the first 2 weeks.
They've earned it.
Yeah.
They've absolutely earned it, and they've earned it going into play in the American, and they've got a runway before some of their tougher games. I think this could be win or lose this game, and it's a tough one, obviously. It's another tough one going the other way down I-75 this time. They have a potentially special season in front of them, considering what they've already done. They have to stay healthy. Byron Brown has to be healthy this time. And then once they wait till they find their offensive rhythm against some of those teams, then they get scary, because I think this defense is for real.
So again, I doubt the AP, if they do lose, I doubt the AP poll will have them in the top 25. That's why the PFF top 25 is the one you should be looking at right now, because they should be ranked after, even if they lose to Miami. But we'll see.
It's a very humble plug right there.
If they pull it off, though, I may have to.
If they pull it off, you make them number one. That's the one demand I will make. If they actually pulled this off, you make them number one. I will not come on the show Sunday unless they're number one. You will do the show by yourself on Sunday if they win and they're not the top ranked.
We'll have your brother, a USF grad, call into the show too, just screaming at me for not being number one. They might be number one.
I think if they win this game, I'm telling you, I've said it since Sunday, I'd make them number one.
Oh, if LSU wins against Florida, then they'll also beat Florida like USF did.
So
and
they'll do LSU 1 and USF 2?
That might be what I do. I know you hate me for it, but it'd be tough. I'll guarantee you top 3.
Got the Boise win.
I'll guarantee you top 3.
Fine.
We'll see what happens. Well, hey.
I hate your style. I hate your style of negotiating. It's just the worst. It's just.
Oh, well, that would be one of the biggest upsets of the week if USF can pull it off again after being 17.5-point underdogs. But